Saw the money and got activated. Saw the money and got activated. Saw that money and got activated. I saw that money and got activated. Canada Goose. Keep me wearing my cold city. I got a pole with me. Glock on 450.
Wow, it has been a minute since I've seen you guys or made a video or posted anything on here, and I'm kind of ashamed of it, but it is what it is. If you don't follow me on TikTok, highly suggest it. I post on there probably 2 to 3 times a day, if not more. Doesn't mean I'm done with YouTube. I still plan on doing YouTube. The problem was that I felt like I was getting really repetitive with the Cummins because we've done so much work to it and I've done the same things kind of over and over again. So I felt like I was kind of just, like I said, being repetitive. But a lot has changed since you guys have last got on here, and a lot has happened in that time frame. We got a lot of progress done. So I'm going to kind of go over that. I know this is random. I still have all the footage. I did film a bunch of stuff, so I still have all that footage, and I'll probably just put it in one big like video and kind of cut it all up. But for now, I'm going to kind of show you guys where we're sitting at, what we're dealing with, and the progress we made. So as you can see, the first gen is white. Surprise, right? So the original plan was to wrap the truck. Still plan on wrapping it. I think I'm going to wrap it the two-tone here. The paint still is not done yet. There's a couple cracking spots that was probably my fault, but if you look here, it cracked. So we have to sand this all the way down to the base coat and then blend it all back in and repaint it, obviously. But we did wet sand some of it. As you can see, it's really shiny. But we still have to repaint some spots, and then we can start wet sanding and buffing it. We have got the front end completely done. All new everything in the steering, all new everything in the brakes, master cylinders brand new, all new lines, hoses, clips, all Moog ball joints, all Moog steering components, shocks. Ended up finding out that the driver's side control arm actually had a passenger side control arm on it the entire time, and that's why we've had such a bad steering issue. Ever since it broke an upper control arm, which I'll put that clip in here, it has had problems ever since then, and I never could figure out why. And it's because when I bought a new control arm, they sold me the wrong side, and I just threw it on because I needed my truck back. Didn't pay any attention to it, and so for the last 3 years, this truck has had a wrong control arm on it, and that's why it's had such a bad steering problem. It was basically giving the wheel way too much caster, and you can imagine how that would feel steering wise. So got a new upper control arm, brand new bushings and everything, Moog bushings, brand new springs. We put lift springs in it with our leveling kit as well. Resealed the steering box. I'm still going to get a different steering shaft because it has way more slop in it than you would expect. So I'm going to get a new steering shaft just because everything else is new, might as well. And yeah, so we still don't have doors. We're waiting on doors, back order, because we're just ordering brand new ones. So we're gonna rock these doors for the rest of the season. They're dented up, I know, but here's some more shininess. God, it looks so good. Yeah, so the shop is a complete mess right now, but the only thing we have left is to run the metal brake lines. So I'm either gonna make some myself or we're gonna go buy some. And then obviously we have to bleed the whole braking system, which will take a while. We also got rid of the hood stack. The exhaust isn't on it right now, but I remade the downpipe, and we still have to paint the hood and the cowl and the roll pan. So there's that left to do. Let's see. Oh, sorry. The interior is done. It's really dirty right now, but we got all of the carpet, all the fresh new interior in. We put a double din radio in. We also have a backup camera that I still have to hook up. Brand new taillights, fresh taillights. Super excited about that. We also got a single plane rear window without the slider. the new gasket and all that stuff. Super excited about that. That's gonna look really good. We still have to tint it, which we got 2% tint to put on that. Still have to peel the dip off this flare. So as you can tell, we've made quite a decent amount of progress in that time period. The truck is lifted 3 inches since you saw it last. I can't remember what I uploaded in the last video. But yeah, that's really the gist of it. We did buy another car. The plan is to flip it, but we'll see how that goes, I guess. And the next thing in here is the hard body. We're gonna start a frame up build on the hard body. Obviously, I'm gonna do all that on YouTube and stuff too. I just kind of got out of whack with the first gen, and I just feel super repetitive, and I just want to bring fresh, good, not repetitive content, because at the end of the day, there's millions of thousands of people with first gens that are making YouTube videos on them, and it just doesn't feel unique anymore. As much as you guys, I like the first gen and stuff, and those that do subscribe and watch, I do appreciate you, but I just felt really repetitive. Yeah, I guess I can show you the new car that we bought. So I'll wait till we push it back in the shop to really go over it, but we bought a Miata, so I'll wait to push that back in. We got to do some cleaning up in here before I push it back in here, but we'll push this back in and then we can talk about it. Okay, so it's probably been about an hour or two since I last talked to you guys, but we cleaned the shop up, put the wheels on the first gen and rolled it back some because it was like sitting like 8 foot from the back wall, and it was making it super tight with the Miata in here. It's kind of funny because I didn't tighten up the control arms and I haven't even adjusted the alignment at all, so I sat on the ground and this is how it's sitting. It looks hilarious. Yeah, obviously it'll be a lot taller. The wheels won't be all cambered in and stuff, but got the shop cleaned up. It hasn't been this clean since we started the suspension stuff, but we're gonna attempt to push this Miata in by myself. The biggest thing is this is uphill and we got these big bumps here, so hopefully we can make it happen. We don't really have any other options, so we're gonna have to push it in. I'm gonna try now. Okay, that almost did not happen. That was barely got it in here, so we'll show you guys that now. This is our new 1990 Mazda Miata. It needs some work for sure, but the plans are make it look cool and then flip it to make some money on it. I was originally supposed to buy a rust-free hard body instead, but had some problems trying to pick it up, so we ended up getting this. It was closer, a lot easier to haul, stuff like that. But it's not bad. This is the clean side, obviously. This fender's got really bad cracking, which it doesn't matter because this whole car is gonna have to get repainted. This side's really clean as far as rust. There's some bubbling down here, and then there's a hole right there, which this is all gonna get cut out right here for over fenders, which are just basically like fiberglass covers that widen the body a little bit. So that doesn't matter at all. The top is like all ripped and torn. At least the back window is. I think a top for this thing's like 180 bucks. Back bumper was in good shape, but that got scratched trailering it, so it'll probably need a new bumper. Now this side is really rusty. Obviously this doesn't matter, but down here obviously is pretty gone. It looks really bad, but it's not that bad. I'm just gonna reskin, so I'm gonna cut here and put a new panel in here, and then we're gonna have to put a rocker, at least section in a rocker up here before the fender, because there's a small hole there, and then the fender up there is dented anyways, and I think a fender for this thing is 80 bucks, brand new. So that's all the body stuff. Now, engine, and as far as the whole car running and driving goes, I got it not running, but you could think of this as a plus or a negative, but the guy that had it before actually tore the head off of it and replaced the head gasket and did the timing belt and stuff. And I don't know when throughout the two-year time period that he did this, but the car was down for 2 years. Put the new head gasket on, put the timing belt on, put everything back together, but hasn't started the car since. So obviously there's a lot of room for error. Who knows if he did the head gasket right? Who knows if he torqued the head studs right or the head bolts right? Who knows if he put it back in time properly? There's a lot of variables that could come into effect. Good news is head gaskets for these things are cheap. They're not hard to pull the head off of. So if we run into a problem there, not a big deal. As far as I know, they're non-interference motors, so I don't have to worry about this thing being out of time and smashing the valves. That's good. Timing them is pretty easy. The only thing that I'm worried about is he never really said why he replaced the head gasket. I'm not sure if he did a compression test and it was low, so he just assumed it needed a head gasket, or if it was overheating. I don't know. My worry is he threw a head gasket at it thinking it was just low on compression, and it was actually a cylinder or a piston ring or whatever else. Even then, I'm not sweating it too much because I could buy an engine or part this car out and make my money back easily. I didn't pay hardly anything for it, or else I would have never bought it, because I don't necessarily care for Miatas all that much. I just saw an opportunity to make a decent amount of money and I took it. So here we are. The only thing keeping me from the engine's not locked up. I spun it by hand. The starter just clicks. I'm gonna pull the starter out and see if I can just clean it, because it has been sitting for 2 years. So I'm gonna see if I can pull the starter out and clean it and make it work, because I don't want to put any money into the car until I hear it run, because I don't want to go buy a $70 starter and then start this thing and it's rod knocking or who knows what. So we're gonna avoid trying to spend any money, get the thing to run and at least drive, and then we'll start ordering body panels, cutting stuff up, buying wheels, coilovers, get a new top, all that jazz. The other thing is there's absolutely no clutch pedal. I opened the bleeder on the clutch slave. I'm not getting any fluid at all. And when you hit the clutch with the cap off over here, it's not bubbling or anything. I'm assuming it's a master cylinder, but I think I'm just gonna buy a master cylinder, a clutch slave, and a braided line kit. I think it's like 60 bucks, because that metal line is rusty, and I already know as soon as I break the bolt loose, it's gonna probably break the line as well. So I really don't want to buy that until we hear the car run though. So first step is to get the car running. I probably could have already had it fixed by now, but I told myself that I was not going to tear into this until this was at least driving. I know as soon as I tear into this, I'll get super excited, and then I'll just put this on the back burner, and then it won't be done until next year. So I really want to drive this thing for at least throughout the fall and the beginning of winter, and then we can park it and put it away till next year. Still a lot of stuff I want to get done on it, like the electrical stuff, and just a lot of stuff that odds and ends. But yeah, this thing, it's not too bad. It really isn't. So I'm excited to kind of mess with it. The ultimate goal is to get rid of this and buy a very nice E36 for a drift car. And then obviously the hard body is still going to get drifted and stuff, but I want to take my time with it. And I want to get a car that I can go out and just drift with practically stock everything besides a welded diff and learn. Some might argue that this is a good car for that, but they don't make a lot of horsepower. So an E36, they make like 180 or 200 horsepower stock. These things make like 80 or 90. So and E36s look good. I don't really care for Miatas. This is a NA, which is the flip up headlights. I would love to have an NB. If someone wants to trade this thing for an NB, I don't know, once it's done, but not entirely sure how long this video is already, but a lot to catch up on, obviously. I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot. We still have the 4-door long bed dually at the house that I did decide that I want to put a Cummins in. Can't remember if I told you guys that or not, but I didn't think that the engine and transmission in it were worth much. Turns out I can sell them for like $1,400 together, and I could buy a Cummins. I could buy a 12 valve I want a VE pump 12 valve, just because they're reliable. I'm not trying to make power with it. I just want something that I can drive across state lines, get good fuel mileage, and be reliable. And my truck has always been that. So why not buy another one? And I want this one to be a manual, so that's fun. Not really sure what else to say. Probably not gonna make like a bunch of videos about putting this thing back together. You'll see another video on it when it's driving. And then when it's driving, we'll go over a lot of the little stuff I've done, like the rear view camera, stuff like that. And yeah, make like a cool montage. That's not broken, it just, the screw popped out. But yeah, guys, we got a big, huge board full of freaking stuff to get done. And I'm excited. I've also been kicking around the idea of K-swapping something. Now, a lot of you guys are probably like diesel guys or like truck guys, but I'm really starting to like the K-series. I was a big Honda hater, never understood why people liked them. I still don't like Honda cars. I hate front-wheel drive cars. I don't get the point in them. For me, I just have to have something that I can use. Like, and I mean, when I say use, I need to do burnouts. I need to be able to slide it around. I need to be able to have fun in it. Front wheel drive car just doesn't do it for me. No hate towards them or anything, just not my style. But the K series, I've been learning a lot about them, and them things, they seem like a very ideal engine. So I want to K swap something. I was kicking around the idea of K swapping the hard body, but you know, I don't want to take a running and driving engine out and swap it. So if it blows up, we'll probably do it. I was thinking about K-swapping the Miata, but I don't really want to keep this thing. So maybe a K-swap E36. I bet that's never been done. That would be pretty sick. But yeah, I don't want to keep talking because I know that's exactly what I'll do. Hopefully you guys aren't too mad at me for not kind of posting and stuff, but I hope you're excited for this thing to get done and start getting put to work. It's not a show truck. It's not perfect. Literally, it's not perfect at all. I never intended for it to be perfect. For this truck to be perfect, it would literally need to be tore down to the frame and built up, which eventually one day it'll get that. But this truck is going to be used. It's going to be put to work. It's going to get dings and dents and scratches. That's what I want it for. I don't want a super nice show truck. I have no purpose for that. That does nothing for me. I don't go to truck shows. I don't go to Daytona truck meet and stuff like that. I don't care to have a super nice, like, show quality truck. Don't get me wrong, I like my stuff to look cool and stuff, but I would rather use my truck as a tool and something that I can beat on and not worry about it. I want to be able to go whip donuts in this thing and not worry about the fender hitting it and chipping the paint. You know what I mean? Like, I just, yeah. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Post any questions you have below, or whatever your thoughts are below. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.